Hello, hunters! Welcome back to my story. Let's begin part 9. Alexis finally wakes up, but she's still injured. Annabelle and Sarah then take her to her room, and Shelia, Kevin, Jerry, and Roshan follow. Everyone else waits in the main hall for the others to return. Just then, Atka and Cody show up, and they tell the others that Spirit already left. Then Atka goes to Alexis' room and sees that she's hurt. He goes up to her room and then asks what happened. At first she's surprised, but then Atka explains what happened, and she understands. But then Alexis starts crying, and Atka asks what's wrong. Then she apologizes, and says that she can't call herself the princess anymore because she broke a promise to him. He has no idea what she's talking about, but then she tells him that she promised him that she wouldn't get hurt too bad, but now she's in the same state that Atka was in after getting hurt by Spirit. Then Atka tells her that doesn't matter, because she was fighting for everyone. He tells her that if it wasn't for her bravery, they all would have lost to Zabuzar, so a broken promise doesn't matter. Then he tells her that he loves her. Alexis continues crying, but now it's tears of joy. For the next 24 hours, Atka takes care of Alexis as she did for him when he was injured. Now at last she has recovered. She gets out of bed and gives Atka a hug. They're now together just like Stride and Shelia. Meanwhile, Spirit has just returned to Planet Dark to find that it's more peaceful than ever. But he doesn't want to leave his home world unguarded again, so he gathers 9 potent warriors and begins to train them. They are Magi, Brack, Shay, Hiberno, Stecco, Pitch, Nindis, Dar, and Grey. 3 years pass and everything goes well for everyone. Spirit's trained warriors have become very strong, and are now the kingdom's royal guards. Atka now lives with Alexis in the castle, and Roshan lives there too, sleeping in the main hall. Everyone else's lives went on the same way. But one day, something out of the ordinary happens for the first time in 3 years. Someone crash lands in the castle courtyard, and Kevin goes to investigate. He finds a young girl, about his age, in a witch's outfit, on the ground next to a broken broom. He helps her up and asks her if she's okay. She says she is, then she acts surprised to see Kevin. She starts to get nervous, and then Kevin asks her who she is. She manages to calm down, then she tells him. Her name is Blair, and she's a witch in training who was practicing her broom flying power until she messed up and crash landed there, and broke her broom. Then Kevin offers to fix it, and she accepts it, so he takes the broken broom to the healing chamber and uses miracle water to fix it, making it as good as new. He hands it back to her, and she's surprised. She goes up to fly back home, then she asks if he can go with to make sure she gets back home safely, and he does. He gets on the broom with her and first asks if it's fine to have the extra weight on there, and she says it is. Then she flies to her house, which is a nice looking house in the middle of Cherokee Woods. Once they get there, a man is waiting there, and he walks up to Blair and pushes her to the ground, and Kevin asks what's going on. Then Blair tells him. The man's name is Gerald. He's the brother of Jake and the cousin of the guys in the Power Squad, and he is evil just like them. But he seeks power in a different way. Unlike his siblings who want to assist a super powerful being in world domination, he wants to be the leader and have all the power of himself. One day he met Blair on the streets of Cherokee City and realized that she could use magic, so he decided to be nice to her at first, and they quickly became friends. Then he decided to equip a badge that he made, which made him immune to magic, so that she couldn't do anything whenever he would eventually turn on her. They soon got closer, and he became her boyfriend and moved in with her, and that's when it happened. He started to become abusive so he could force her to learn more powerful spells. He wanted to use her magic power to take over the world, and he didn't care how much she suffered. It was only Blair and her mother Claire around. They couldn't hurt him, and they're in the middle of the woods, so there was no way that he could be stopped. This makes Kevin angry, and he stands up to Gerald. Gerald acts confident and is ready to fight Kevin, but then he gets sent flying from one punch by Kevin. And he hits a tree and his badge falls off. He's surprised by Kevin's power, and desperately tries to get his badge back on, but then he falls to the ground. Blair hit him with a paralysis spell. Gerald's plans have been thwarted at last thanks to the young Prince Kevin. Gerald is angry at the two for stopping him, but he can't move, so there is nothing he can do now. He now knows how Blair felt while he lived with her. Just then, Atka shows up and asks Kevin what happened. Kevin tells him everything, and Atka decides to take Gerald to the dungeon. With Gerald arrested for his crimes, Blair and Claire can finally live in peace once again. And Blair can once again enhance her magic abilities at her own pace. Kevin asks Blair why it's just them two around anyway, and he also asks when and how she met Gerald. She's hesitant at first, but then she answers. Blair tells Kevin that her dad did originally live with them, but he left home many years ago to train and hasn't come back since. She says that she wishes he was still there because he would have protected them. The last time they heard of him, he was in a tournament, but after that he disappeared again and hasn't been heard from since. Kevin said Kevin was in that same tournament, the Tournament of Will, so Kevin asks her for his name to see if he will remember it. Blair doesn't remember, so she asks her mom. She says that the man's name is Gear. Kevin's surprised to hear that name, and Blair notices it and asks him if he knows her dad. He says that they've never met, but he's seen him fight, and that after the last time he saw him, he disappeared again. Kevin doesn't want them to know about Gear's crimes, so he doesn't tell them. Then he asks her again about Gerald, and she says that she first met him a year and a half ago in Cherokee City, when she was on her way out of the grocery store and she bumped into him. They chatted for a bit and they got along well. This is also when he sensed that she had magic power. Half a year later they started dating, and that's when things started going bad. Until now, that is. It went on for a year until Kevin saved her, and that wouldn't have even happened if it hadn't been for her courage and that accident on the broom ride. Now that Kevin knows all of this, he's about to leave until Blair asks him to stay the night so he can protect them in case any other bad people show up. He decides that he will, but then says that he'll have to tell his father first. But then Roshan, who heard the whole conversation, reveals himself and tells Kevin that he'll let the king know what he's been up to. Then he can tell that part of Kevin a bit skeptical about the idea of staying the night at a stranger's house, so he reassures him that there's nothing to worry about. Chimeras are very good at sensing deception, and he sees no ill intent within them. Then he also says that he can't say the same for Gerald, who had plans to rule the world and have complete control of everything within his grasp. He can't tell why him or any of his siblings are evil, though. As far as he knows, they just are for the heck of it. He says it's a good thing that them two and Atka apprehended him quickly. Then he leaves and goes back to the castle. The three of them have dinner together. Then later they go to bed. Kevin sleeps in the guest room. Later that night in the dungeon, Gerald was put behind bars after a day of prison labor, and he meets with his three cousins who are also there, John, Josh, and Joel. Gear is also there, and all five of them are in different jail cells. The four siblings talk about how their plans failed, that they all plan to work together for a new plan once they're free. Then Gerald brings up Blair, and this made Gear mad, and he started to unleash his power for the first time in over 4 years. He was ready to kill Gerald after learning that he hurt his daughter. But then the guard walks in and stops him, saying that he wouldn't want to cause any trouble now that he's free to go. They're all confused. No one expected him to be set free. No one else is being let go, just him. The guard takes him to the entrance, and two others are there, Jerry and Spirit. Spirit is the one who bailed them out, because he also heard Blair's conversation with Kevin, and wanted the family to be reunited, because he doesn't want others to have a bad family like he did. Jerry is also there to give the final say as king, and Spirit's also gonna be sure that Gear doesn't go on a rampage. After talking with them, Gear promises that he won't do anything bad anymore. He says that meditation in prison has helped him get rid of his evil intentions as well as becoming much stronger. Then he says that after hearing what Gerald said, he really misses his family again and will return to them immediately. Goldie, who is watching them, assures them that Gear is telling the truth, because like all other chimeras, he could tell if someone was lying. Jerry then declares that Gear is free to go. Then him and Goldie return to their homes. The guard returns to his post. Gear asks who Spirit is, and why and how he veiled him. Spirit properly introduces himself, and Gear asks him if he's evil, but Spirit says that his race doesn't do bad things anymore. Then he tells him why he did this, and that the veil costed a lot of gems from Planet Dark. Then Spirit says that to make up for what he did, Gear has to not only do what he told the king, but also that the two of them have to spar later. Gear agrees with his terms, and he walks back to his house in Cherokee Woods. Spirit returns to his spaceship and goes back to his world. Early in the morning, the three of them wake up, and Blair offers to make Kevin breakfast. Kevin decides to stay for breakfast, but he goes to sit outside. While he's out there, he sees someone walking toward the house. It's Gear. He asks Kevin what he's doing at his daughter's house, and Kevin tells him what happened. Then Kevin asks him how he got there, and Gear tells him that Spirit bailed him out. Kevin's surprised to hear that, but then he asks Gear why he's there. Then Gear gives him the full story, including the fact that he's changed his ways and plans to be there for his family from now on. Then he thanks Kevin for protecting them from Gerald. Just then, Blair steps outside to tell Kevin that breakfast is ready. Then she sees Gear. Then she sees her father for the first time in years. She stands there crying, and then she asks if it's really him. He says it is, and she runs up to him. Thanks for watching part 9 of this story. Stay tuned for part 10 for the reunion of this family, and to see what Kevin will do now. I'll see you guys then. Happy hunting.